So for writing the equation in your slope-intercept form through 2 points, after you find your slope, make sure that you reduce it as much as possible. Sometimes it is going to be a whole number, so don't leave it as 12 over 2, because 12 divided by 2 is going to be 6. So that is your value for step 2 for m. So your slope is 6, your x1 is 1, your y1 is -2. All we have to do from here is plug it into point slope form. Okay, so I recommend writing out the point slope form first and then plugging it in. If you do that, eventually you are going to have this memorized and you're going to be able to plug it in a lot quicker. So if you have y minus -2 equals 6 times x minus 1, you can go back and you can simplify. Anytime you have minus and negative, it is going to be plus. And then your step is going to be the exact same as what we did for example 1. So you're going to distribute. Okay, and actually I'll write this up here so we have more room. So y plus 2 equals 6 times x is 6x. What's 6 times -1? Use your calculator if you need to, but what's 6 times -1? -6. So if it's a negative, you just put the minus. Okay, now we have to get y by itself. All right, so Gabriel, what do we have to do to get y by itself here? Yeah, subtract 2 from both sides. That's your last step. And again, when you're subtracting 2, make sure you line it up with the term that does not have x in it. -2 and +2 make 0. That's why we're able to get y by itself. The 6x is going to stay the same. And then, so then if you have -6 minus 2, -8. Okay, that's exactly what your answer is going to be. Okay, so, and this one I wrote out the directions. Okay, this one I'm going to have you do it by yourself, so you don't have to write out like number 1, find the slope. You can just go ahead and find it. Alright, so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to label your 2 points. We're always going to start by labeling your x1, your y1, and then it's x2, y2. This is the first point, this is the second point. Okay, so go ahead, find your slope, and then I want you to plug that. Alright, so a lot of you did a nice job of getting here. Remember, if you're dividing a negative by a negative, it is going to be a positive. And then the number that goes into both of them is 2. So if you divide the top and the bottom by -2, you'll get 2 over 3. That is your slope. You can also use the ABC button on your calculator, and it will reduce that for you. That is fine. Okay, the only time you really have to be careful with the ABC button is if the top number is larger than the bottom, because then it gives it to you as a mixed number. And we don't want that. We always want one fraction so we have that rise over the run. And then when you're plugging this in, okay, you're plugging it in to y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So you've labeled your x1, y1, and you just found your m. So you're going to be able to go right to this step, y minus, and then look at your y1. If it's positive, it just stays as minus. The 2/3 is going to go here. Okay, and then you have minus 6. Okay, now from here, you are, so this is where I wanted you to get to, the very least. Okay, some of you were able to distribute too, which is awesome. Because when you are multiplying anything by x, you just get that number times x, so 2/3 x. Okay, you can do the 2/3 times 6 in your calculator, that's fine. Or, this is really what your calculator is doing. Your calculator is doing 2/3 times -6 over 1. I'll make a little side note. Okay, so if you multiply the top together, 2 times -6, you get -12. What's 3 times 1? 3. And then, do we know what 12 divided by 3 is? -4. Okay, again, if you did that in your calculator, the 2/3, you would just put that in parentheses, 2/3 times -6. Okay, and that is perfectly fine. Just if you get a negative, you're going to leave it as a minus. Okay, and then, Brian, what did you do for your last step? Or what would you do? Stop. It's not funny. If you have to get y by itself, what would you do to both sides?
I would add 3.
Mm-hmm. And then what are you going to add the 3 to on this side? Okay. And then look, this is, once you do -4 plus 3 and you get -1, this is your answer. Okay? So once you plug it in, there's just 2 steps after that. Distribute, and then we added 3. So you're going to distribute, and then depending what this is, you either add or subtract. Okay, so I've gone over that twice with you. I want you to do part C. Okay, and then will you bring it up and show me so I can check it when you're done with part C? And then I can give you your points for that. And then you are going to work on 5-7, day 2, the back side. And then I will check that in as well. Okay? Okay, so finish part C, get it checked. And then finish 5.7, day 2 practice, and get that checked. Okay, so those are the 2 things I want you to focus on.